no.
certainly is. I can talk about it on the stream. Let's make sure the sounds are correct.
Yeah, I think we're good.
Is the voice coming through? I believe it is. We are early.
Yeah.
We are fantastically early today.
Cheers.
Cheers, everyone. Cheers to a long weekend in Western Australia.
Oh, yeah. It's awesome.
Let me ask you this, Casper.
Yes.
How was your week?
Oh, my God. It was pretty good, but, like, I have noticed more and more around me that everything is getting bought out, technology related, and I didn't expect the Xbox release for the pre-orders to be as hectic as it was.
Did you get a haircut?
I did. I got a haircut.
I like it. So I know Xbox is a very important topic.
Yeah, but
I think your haircut is really important too.
It's not quite a $7.5 billion haircut, but
that is one of the topics, my friends. Welcome to State of the Beanstalk. But I didn't mean to cut you off. No, go on. Everything's getting sold out.
Yes, everything is getting sold out to the point where this week I was hoping to just walk into JB Hi-Fi and be like, hey, I'm just going to pick out the latest video game, which is the Mafia Definitive Edition, just like on its own standalone game. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to go grab a copy. Go out to the counter. The lady's like, oh, sorry, we're all sold out. I was like, what? But it released today.
Are you serious?
Yeah, and this was like at 2 or 3 in the afternoon because I got let go from work quite early, and
you still have a job to return to. You didn't get let go.
No, I didn't get let go. No.
Okay.
Yeah, I legged it.
Yeah.
And the lady's like, oh, what about the other stores? And she's like, well, the ones like in the shopping center should have some, but they have a few copies, and I already sent a few guys down that way.
Yeah, right.
So they're gonna buy them out anyway. I'm like, what? So what now? And she's like, well, I have the trilogy that's left, which includes the game, but it's like $20 more. I'm like, well, okay, I might as well. I've never played any of these.
Yeah, you're getting a bargain.
What's going on, Patrick? Why is everything getting sold out? Everything's getting bought out as well.
I don't get it myself. And it's one of those things that you sort of look at and go, who's buying this, right? Aren't we supposed to be in a recession? Now, we talked about this a little bit.
Yeah, who's got the money? Everybody does, apparently.
I think a lot of people got some really nice tax returns. That's what it seems like. Hello, everyone.
Hi, Brendel and everyone.
Yeah, Brendel. Yeah, hey, g'day, mate. And no, I didn't rip one in regards to Casper's facial expression.
Yeah, no, he ripped 2.
We've got some really awesome topics for you today. I had a terrible day. I've got terrible hay fever, so I sound like a truck.
Why is it terrible?
Well, you know what the thing with hay fever is? Once it gets you, you're stuck with it the whole day. And it's like your brain's like exploding. Your head feels like it's a bowling ball. And I'd wish somebody threw me into a couple of poles or little, whatever they're called, pins. Bowling pins.
Oh, right. Yeah. So you like your mind is getting blown, but not the right time.
Yeah.
Oh, what a
Absolutely. So we've got Microsoft buying Bethesda. Well, actually, let's be clear, because they're buying Zenimax, and Zenimax owns Bethesda.
Yes.
You know, when I was a lot younger, I used to think they used to be called Bethesda.
Oh, yeah. I think I said something strange as well. I was like, Bethesda or something like that.
Yeah, they had a funny name. So we've got that. We've also got stuff about Xbox, and the dogs are here. We've got both.
Dog. Shoe dog. We're middle of something.
We've got both shepherds today. We've got Japan selling out. We've got the world selling about an Xbox, and we're gonna have to go through that. The 3090.
Ooh, yes.
Lukewarm reception.
Give me some stats.
Go look at that. Tokyo Game Show. That's more your ballpark.
Oh, yeah, I saw some stuff already about it, yeah.
Yeah, I'm really keen to hear.
It's still going, actually.
Is it?
It's still going
live
on.
right now?
Yeah, like for the next 2 days or 1 day left.
Okay,
yeah.
All right. And Big Navi from AMD. AMD's answer to the
3080.
Hopefully. I'm hoping. Are you hoping?
I'm hoping that, they will compete, on that 3080 league.
And AMD promises, and we'll find out if those promises ever come true. I promise. Sony apologizes for what? What did they do this time?
Oh, well, it was the pre-order 5 for the PS5 mess.
Yeah.
Basically, how it all just sold out like crazy, like hotcakes.
Not enough. They should apologize by giving everybody free PlayStation. Let's get started with the intro. I should clarify.
Yes.
So, if anybody has seen that intro a few times, I don't know if you can see it at the bottom of State of the Beanstalk. It says with John Johnson and Steve Stevenson. So, a little while back, we did a bit of a. Would you call it a show? Like it was
we
this.
had a show. It was this, but it was like, I want to say maybe more professional.
It was what I would call like a pre-created show. It was like the Top Gear of, but not at that quality.
No.
Of like just putting crap together. So we had like movie news. We had game reviews, movie reviews,
fake ads,
fake adverts in between an hour's worth of show,
Yeah.
and we film those and make stuff up. You can check it on the actual State of the Beanstalk YouTube channel, which is very small, but in any case,
very small.
Ultimately, though, it took us almost like a week to edit. And by the time we released it, it was already old news.
Yeah,
so
it was history.
It was history. So I think this is much better. So we're going to talk about Bethesda. Now, Casper.
Yes, good sir.
Sorry, Zenimax. I should be more efficient.
Zenimax.
Have you played any Bethesda games?
I'm sure I have. Like, well, Oblivion, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Oblivion back in the day. But like, and Doom, the 2016 Doom.
Yes, yeah.
But to be honest, I find a lot of those games for me have fallen through the cracks. And I'm talking like the Fallout franchise, the newer Skyrim game.
Whoa. Guys, please do not cancel us.
Don't cancel us, please. I just, you know what? I just think their games, I'm sorry, I'm going to put it out there, but they feel outdated. Like, minus Doom. I feel like Doom has, like, the good graphics. It's doing well.
Yeah.
But, like, all the other games just look so chunky, so outdated, using, like, repetitive formulas.
Yeah.
And I look at them, I'm like, why are you guys still so big and popular?
Look, okay, so we know for a fact that, what would we call it? The games themselves were built on very outdated engines.
Yeah,
they were built on things that were old already by the time. So Fallout 4 was built pretty much on the same engine as Fallout 3. And that was obviously built on
years and years apart.
Years apart. But what they did is they go, oh, well, this engine's really good. Let's just keep adding and piling onto it. Fallout 4 had the same exact bugs as Fallout 3, and they fixed it in Fallout 3. But because when they built Fallout 4, they're just like, oh, you know what? Just take the engine. Let's just start building the game.
Yeah,
it's just mind blowing that a company did that. So
it is.
I get why you skipped it, but I will have to say Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas was the best Fallout games I have ever played.
Right. Okay.
And I've played 4. And I tried 76 because it's free on Games Pass, or you can play it on Games Pass.
Yeah, that's a while back though, right? We're talking years and years, and I feel like Doom is actually carrying Bethesda at the moment.
That's right. At the moment, so there is Skyrim. Let's just come back.
Skyrim. God.
Oblivion was one. No, sorry, Morrowind was my first introduction into like RPGs.
Yeah, in a big open world, like.
3 dimensions.
Yeah, 3 dimensions.
And it was phenomenal. But the problem with it was that if you accidentally killed somebody or dropped an item, you couldn't finish quests. It was really buggy and it was problematic. God. So then Oblivion came. I sunk 700 hours into that game.
Oh, I sunk a few, but maybe not that many.
No.
Wow,
it was fantastic.
It was amazing, right?
Mind-blowingly good.
Yeah, Oblivion. It was really good. I liked it.
And then Skyrim came along, and it took all the best from Oblivion and just put it into the next generation, added more. It was really exciting, and we get memes like, arrow to the knee.
Yeah.
And, when a game creates memes, it's good.
I was actually let down by Skyrim.
Were you?
I took one look at it, I'm like, this looks outdated when it's already released.
Yeah. Wow.
And then it was just dragged on for all eternity as well after that.
Yeah. And even Brindle says here, both the Fallout and Elder Scroll engines are just too old and need to be rebuilt from scratch in their next iteration, I believe. They won't do it, but Microsoft...
Yeah, but I agree.
But here's the thing, right?
The case.
Microsoft buying them might actually force them to do so, but... To add to that, Halo doesn't look that good either. So.
Oh my god, Halo looks disgusting at the moment. Yeah.
Hey Control, hey Hammy, good to see you guys. Hey Brandel, we did say hi to you earlier.
Yeah, we can say hi again.
Okay, so what do you think? Do you think Microsoft will help Bethesda move into the next generation?
Well, I don't know. I think it's the other way around. I think like Microsoft is counting on Bethesda to carry their to carry Microsoft throughout the slugfest that we're going into right now. I mean, I know Phil Spencer was like, "Oh, exclusives are something that you cut out a fan base, blah blah blah." But I mean, you just made the $7.5 billion deal with with Bethesda, and you know what I feel? This is how I feel like it went down. Phil just went over and he called Bill, and he's like, Phil and Bill. Phil and Bill's Wild Adventures. He just called him and he's like, yo, this Sony is giving us some problems. And Bill's like, bro, just throw money at it. And this is what they've done. Like 7.5 billion. This is the world's history's largest gaming deal of all time.
Is it?
Yeah, $7.5 billion. It's insane.
It's just amazing that Todd,
the
man who lies a lot, he does, managed to sell Skyrim once more.
Once more.
Because he sold it to Nintendo. Well, sold it. Like, he put it on the Switch.
Yeah.
There's a version of it for the PlayStation 5 now. Isn't that? Yeah, there is.
Oh, probably.
Well, probably going to be coming soon.
Yes.
And, he sold it for the next generation because it came out on PlayStation 3, I think. Came out on PlayStation 4, and then obviously on PC, Switch. Well, it hasn't come out on a fridge yet, smart fridge. But
probably
in any case, so
what do you think it means when you put so much money into a company? What do you think they're going to get out of this?
Okay, so I've literally last 7 months gone through of being purchased by a company.
Yeah,
and not me personally, but my company being purchased, and then I left anyway. The thing I see happening here is they're either going to completely detract from what Bethesda made Bethesda good,
right,
and tear it apart, take the IPs and just make them with their own studios, obviously using all the employees and whatnot, because employees are actually, they're actually valuable if they know the system that but they don't want to see. That's the thing, they don't want to use the engine, right? I don't think they want to reuse the engine. I think Microsoft is pretty smart about that. They'll use something else and they'll rebuild all these games in those engines.
I really hope so.
I think they're going to drop the engine.
Really good for the gaming industry anyway.
However, when you buy something for $7.5 billion, there's some things that come with it, like the engine, that have some proprietary stuff that you want to use and learn off. So I'm not saying they're going to get completely rid of it, but I think they're going to either rebuild a new version of it or at least use something else. Now, Dishonored, Wolfenstein, Elder Scrolls, Fallout, Doom, Starfield is the upcoming one.
Yep.
It's going to be big. The Evil Within, I don't know if you played it. I played one.
Oh, I actually haven't. I still haven't even unboxed it. I'm saving it for what's that thing called? Halloween next month to actually play it. Because my mate's like, you got to play this game. It's really good. Yeah.
And Prey. Now, all these games, at some point in time, were the best sellers of their year.
Yeah,
I would say it's like almost $1 billion each.
Like who doesn't know these games, right? Like everybody pretty much knows like all of these franchises.
Yeah,
they're just so well renowned. This well marketed,
very well marketed.
Yeah, and everybody at some stage has maybe seen or tried one of these games before.
And all of these games came from early, they're very old. Like they were not all, but most. So think back Wolfenstein, think back Fallout, Doom. They've been around. Those three have been around for so long.
For 30 years.
Yeah, they got amalgamated into Bethesda, and then obviously Zenimax, the top owner. Now Zenimax also owns Elder Scrolls Online.
Right.
When that game came out, it wasn't that great, but it has really come a long way now. It has a really big fan base.
Okay. I don't know much about it. I know when it dropped, it was a failure, but okay, it's doing well now.
It was a little bit disappointing, but like any online game, they kept adding and people started liking it more.
Yeah.
It's actually a really cool way to spend your time if you're bored of Skyrim. That's all I'm going to say on that.
Okay.
Dishonored was fun. It was really cool to play, but overall, Wolfenstein was just and Doom was magnificent. And
those two were great.
Those two games alone could carry Microsoft. If Microsoft, because Microsoft only has Halo. Let's be frank.
Yes, they only have Halo.
Sony, what does Sony have?
So much. I can't even list it right now. They have a huge list of games, like
Exactly,
and
the fact
different
that you said
genres
that.
as well. Like
Yeah.
you know, you've got your Uncharted, you've got your Days Gone, you've got your Ratchet and Clank, your Spider-Man,
Yeah.
like it's God of War, Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah.
But just going back to how you said Wolfenstein and Doom are like the epitome, are really great. Those are also those two games that were the initial first 3D shooter games.
Yes.
Like way back in the day. We're talking like early 90s? Early 90s, yeah. So
And
they've had
Quake
so
was
much
there.
time to refine them. Oh, and Quake was there
Yeah,
as well.
yeah,
Yeah.
And what's the other guy? Duke Nukem.
Oh, Duke Nukem 3D.
Yeah,
Yes,
I got
that
it,
was
yeah.
big. Yeah, back then. So, okay. $7.5 billion. Do you think there will be exclusivity? Will Xbox be like, this is only on our console if you want to play these?
Oh, I wouldn't pay 7.5 billion for these games if I wasn't going to do that.
Right? Because people are of two minds. And I'm in the same field as you are, where I'm like, well, you're paying for exclusivity.
Yeah,
This is going to be your
that's
thing.
right.
It's not like it's just going to be on Game Pass, but also on other consoles. I
Yeah.
feel like it's going to be on your realm, like on your system, but it's also going to be on Game Pass, which is going to make it super sweet and sexy,
Yeah.
and people will jump on board. PC gamers, Xbox gamers.
Let's be clear; those games are going to be exclusives. Like they might,
Yeah.
they might not be saying it now, and just not to like upset the fan base.
Yeah.
But like Starfield was going to come out on the PlayStation. It was going to. It will not
Yeah.
be. That's my view. Like I just would think it'd be a stupid decision for Microsoft to not do that.
Right.
That would be way too kind because they are I know Microsoft's giant compared to Sony, but at the end of the day, it's console versus console. Yeah, how much pocket money you have, whatever. But Sony's winning with the games they have, and this
Yeah.
is a point where Xbox strikes back.
Oh, dude, they strike back so hard. Just a couple of things I noticed here. So Hammy said that this may be a big mistake for Microsoft, and Microsoft should buy DICE instead. What do DICE do? I
Well,
I've
DICE
seen
is owned by EA Games.
EA Games.
Yeah,
Right,
so
okay.
that's the guys who make Battlefield.
Right. Okay.
Um,
Did they do that Star Wars game? Star Wars Fallen Order?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So DICE has.
Oh no, not Fallen Order. Sorry,
No,
I thought
no,
you
no.
meant the shooting one.
Oh, the shooting one, the Battlefield front
Grounds,
something. Galactica.
Battlefield Galactica Star.
Yeah, Lord of the Star Battle Galacticas. Yeah, and then we've got Brindle says Microsoft also has Forza and Flight Simulator.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are big guns. Those two.
But like Brindle says, it is niche. Like, you're
Yeah.
right. Like,
they're popular,
Flight
yeah.
Simulator is a very niche game, and they only release that every decade, or what is it, 12 years now, I think it was, or what,
Yeah.
18 years maybe, because it's 2003.
Right.
But
right.
this version of it will last for the next 10 years, and, do really well. I think there's an update coming this week with, like, 9 more hand-created, like, airports, and
Oh my goodness.
that game is
Wow.
going to be around for a while. Like, right now, it's
Yeah.
become the... Like, we used to have, like, Can It Run Crysis? It's like, Can It Run Microsoft?
But yeah, now that's the new thing. That's
Yeah,
the benchmark.
yeah.
Can it run?
Actually,
Can it fly?
are you aware that Crysis Remastered is coming?
Yes, I did see it on Linus's channel, and it's like, can
Yeah.
it run Crisis
Yeah.
Remastered? Yeah.
Did you ever play that game? Did you ever end up playing?
No, but I did see my mate try to play it on his. Everyone tried to play it back in the day, and it looked
absolutely.
amazing, and it was like 20 frames, whoop whoop.
And I think,
Yeah.
I mean, that game has aged very well.
Yeah,
Um,
it has, right?
But yeah, and one of the comments I saw here,
Oh yeah, thank
Brindle
you,
says-
Star Wars Battlefront 1
the
and 2.
Battlefront, that's
yeah.
right. Brindle says that Fallout Elder Scrolls engines are just too old and need to be rebuilt from scratch, but there was a comment where somebody said they are going to be... Oh yeah, retro.
retro,
I'm not
yes.
sure if you guys have already seen it, but Bethesda have said that they will be changing engines with their games. So I believe
Right.
Starfield is going to be on the new engine.
Okay.
And
And you don't think that's going to be multi-platform?
What, Starfield?
Yeah.
I don't think so. Not now. It was going to be.
I think it's still going to be.
You sure?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
Because, okay, Ghostwire Tokyo and also Deathloop are they're going to be multi-platform, but Sony bought out the rights to make it exclusive for 1 year on their platform. So Sony knew about this deal. This becomes apparent. And this was like a cock block, basically,
Yeah,
from Sony
yeah.
to be like, we're going to hold it off from you guys because we know you're striking a big deal here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be multi-platform, and I think it's gonna take a bit of time. Like this deal, there's so much money involved. Like the settlement will probably be drawn out for months and months to come.
Yeah, I think so. It's going to take a little while. And one of the things I wanted to also mention is that deals like this happen rarely, but when they do, yeah, like you said, it's going to take ages. But it's actually going to take ages to actually ramp up the company after the move.
Yeah.
So for a long time, this company, they probably have a lot of games already like being built.
Yeah.
Those games will finish, and we won't see a big a big effect of Microsoft until at least 12 months.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
And that, then I'm just sort of thinking back for myself. I didn't see a big change in my company until at least 6 months, but obviously a smaller company being bought out by a bigger one, we didn't see changes right away. Check this out. ID Software. So they have Doom, they have Quake, they have Rage.
Yeah.
You like Rage, right? You played Rage.
The
original one?
No, I think you were playing it or something, and I was like, damn, it looks good and it's colorful. Yeah.
Then we have Dishonored, Prey, and Deathloop, which is obviously as you mentioned.
Yep.
Starfield, Fallout, and Fallout 76, which was a disaster.
Oh, disaster.
And then The Evil Within. And there's a Roundhouse Studio, which has no game, which will probably be a new IP.
Yeah.
Which is pretty exciting, I think. Hey Pog, hey Harry, and hey Retro. I wouldn't say hello to you guys.
Hello, team.
And now we've got Halo, Gears of War, We Happy Few. Have you tried that?
We Happy Few, didn't that not do so well when it released? It was like lukewarm.
It was lukewarm, but it was really interesting. But it felt like a Bethesda game, not made by Bethesda. It was really interesting.
Right.
Now that they've obviously bought it. Minecraft Dungeons. So obviously they bought Minecraft. Minecraft's a big earner for Microsoft, and they're putting it everywhere. And Minecraft Dungeons is like a dungeon crawler.
Yeah.
Like for kids, basically. Like it's not a
like
Diablo.
It's quite simple. Yeah.
But if you guys want a really cool dungeon crawler, check out Hades. It's available on Steam. It's like $30. Highly recommend it. I've been bloody flogging it.
That game looks so beautiful.
Yeah.
And it's only made by 20 people.
Yeah, it's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah, they're like super massive games, I think, is the company. They've made a few games which have been quite successful, actually.
Yeah.
They put in a lot of time and love.
I'm very impressed. Like, highly recommend it. Hey, Restoration. Good to see you, mate.
Hello.
And yeah, obviously Forza, Motorsport, Donkey Kong Country. What?
Banjo-Kazooie? What? Perfect Dark.
Wait.
Oh, right, yeah, of course, because people have been talking that Perfect Dark will be a new Xbox game.
Isn't that a Nintendo game?
Well, yeah, isn't it? And I mean, Banjo-Kazooie was on the Nintendo 64, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, wow. Microsoft buying the whole world. Speaking of buying, there are talks that PlayStation is potentially striking up a deal with Ubisoft.
Are you serious?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if they can afford Ubisoft, though. That's going to be very expensive.
Let's have a look at the value of Ubisoft.
Ubisoft
value.
What's Ubisoft's net worth? They must be worth a ton. Oh, that was how much money they make, like 100 million or something.
Oh, here we go. I think Wikipedia will have the answer. Let's share the screen.
Total equity, 800.
Total assets, net income. So,
dog. Revenue.
2 billion assets. Well, I don't know if that's really like that means IP or whatever. Ghost, honey, you're hitting your head.
Ghost.
He's smacking his head on the table.
Yeah. I'll give you some love later.
So that's it's okay. Let's just say revenue. Let's just go on revenue. So a company is usually worth 5 times the revenue. That's usually how much it's worth for sale. So if it's 1.7 billion euros, let's round that off to 2. That's worth about $10 billion.
$10 billion US dollars. Yeah, nah, that's not gonna happen.
No, and the reason it's five is because a buyer should get return on investment in 5 years. That revenue should pay for the cost of the company in 5 years. That's usually why it's 5. But yeah, look, at the end of the day, what's okay? So tell me more. What are they? So
I'm thinking if they can't do that, maybe they're looking at ways to make their games more exclusive to their consoles. Because
Right.
I mean, Ubisoft games are huge. They're always successful. They're massive. Like people get hyped on them.
Yep.
I know lately people have been saying, "Oh, your engines are starting to look a little bit outdated," like with Valhalla. And actually,
Valhalla looks terrible.
it doesn't look that great. Doesn't look that great, does it? Like, and people like the people who are making it, they're like, "Oh, don't worry, this is gonna be updated." Da da da. And people are like, "God, we hope so. This looks awful."
Yeah, like Valhalla looks like. Oh, sorry. The impression I had of Valhalla was when I first saw the first Assassin's Creed game. I was like, wow, it looks great.
Oh my god, how good was the first Assassin's Creed? When you first go into that open world, I was like, like that's what I get to play in? That massive sandbox? Like, I was mind blown.
Yeah, it was magnificent.
Yeah.
And then when we saw the Brothers one, which was the Assassin's Creed Brotherhood.
Oh, Brotherhood, right.
And I was like, and they had a very detailed Italian, I think it was Italy, it was Italian city or Vatican or whatever. Yeah, well, Vatican's there. Fantastic colors, it was very colorful, and it looked really good.
Yeah.
Valhalla just looks really dredgy. Not the colors themselves, but just overall quality.
Just needs a lot of polish, man. A lot of polish. And I think if Sony were to take the reins, or if they wanted exclusivity from Ubisoft, they would like really crack the whip, I think, because you look at every single Sony exclusive and it's just top tier. Like I heard the developer or the director from God of War,
right,
when they were doing God of War, and when they had, I think they had like a demo or something of it, and they showcased it to the Sony executives that came on board. The Sony executives were like shaking their heads. They're like, this is crap. Like,
oh really?
Yeah. And they walked out of that meeting like really ashamed. They were like, oh, we gotta lift our game. Like, there's so much quality control, specifically when it comes to Japanese companies. And I was also speaking to one of my ex-bosses who was working for Toyota, and he said, oh my God, there's so much quality control that we're always falling behind, because by the time something gets approved or like something gets pushed through, it takes forever, and you feel like you're working for a company that's 10 years behind.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to point out one thing. FJ Cruisers, terrible quality control. Sorry, but the amount of problems people had with those cars.
What's the FJ?
You know the really boxy looking ones?
Oh, the boxy, is that the
it's
Nissan
an FJ
or a Toyota?
No, it's an FJ Cruiser, and I'll show you what it
Toyota,
looks
right?
like. No. FJ
wait.
Cruiser is a Toyota.
Oh, it's a Toyota. Yeah, okay.
I'll show you what it looks like, and just for the stream. This one here.
Oh, I know these. I think my dad wanted to get one of these.
They look great. Like, don't get me wrong.
He wanted like a yellow one.
Yeah. They look like what a Jeep could look like if it was a bit more like Japanese.
Yeah. Japanese Jeep.
Yeah. Like, they look great, but I've heard a lot of bad stories.
Well, interesting.
But we're not car people.
No,
we're
not
more
car
tech
people. Yeah.
PT Cruise, different one. PT Cruise is the American crazy one. Let's talk about Xbox, because one of the things that happened with that release, and maybe this thing with Bethesda, I think that's going to add to it. I think people are going to be more excited about buying an Xbox console.
Oh, yes.
And to me,
how good was the timing?
It's just, it's impressive.
It was
I'm
so
impressed.
good.
Yeah.
So good.
So, 2 consoles, Xbox is releasing. Which one do you think? Okay, so what do you think of both? Give me some thoughts on.
Dude, I feel like you got these 2 consoles. There is a reason to buy either one of these. Like, I can't overlook any of these. That's what's so good about it. It's like the S. Okay, it's slim form, small factor, cheap. It's got great power to it as well.
Yep.
For what it is, $300 console. It's a shame that the hard drive is a bit smaller, like 512 gigs, I think it is. But it's just like, there's so much appeal to it. The fact that, like, it's so cheap.
But what do you say to the extension hard drive costing $220 USD?
That's where they grab you by the balls, you see.
But the cojones.
Really. Yeah, because it's like, what, like $200 or $180 or something for a terabyte extension.
No, it's 220.
Oh, it's 220.
It's 220.
Oh, God. It's almost like it's 2/3 of the console to get like 100% of the extra space. Yeah. That's what's going to suck, especially this is a digital one. So you're going to be deleting games all the time, which kind of sucks.
It only has enough space for Modern Warfare. If you were to load up Modern Warfare,
yeah,
that's it.
What? Nah, you sure? It's
How much?
500 gigs.
Yeah, but Modern Warfare is like nearly 180.
Oh, right.
So if you get Modern Warfare, and you got like 2, 3, 4 more games, and that's it.
But then the other thing is that this is not what you're going to get. You're not going to get 512 gigs, like with the operating system and all of that.
Yeah, it's like
in there.
480.
It's like, it'll be like 480 or less, right?
Okay, well, let's start with this. Okay, thoughts about this one. Because
this one. Right. Okay, so many great things about this. The fact that most powerful console you could get for the same price as Sony.
Yeah.
You will not be able, for a long, long time, to build a PC of that value, $500.
Let's absolutely, because what is it? 750 Australian.
750 Australian. Like, dude, like you can't even buy a graphics card that's powerful enough as
and
that.
And not just because of the money. It's you just can't buy it. Like,
you just can't buy. Like
everything's out of.
Well,
out
you can't
stock.
even buy an Xbox, unfortunately. Super powerful. Well cooled as well. Like it's well designed. Like it's optimally designed to stay cool. Hence why it's so small, so compact. What else?
They've done an interesting one because they put a fan at the top.
Yeah.
And because heat rises, they're just like, well, we're just gonna help it, and they put a really cool, powerful, cool looking, powerful, fan, and it's gonna extract the air from the bottom and up, and it's a really efficient. Like that's an efficient design.
It's like a helicopter, but with the grill on top. So
you can grill your meats on top.
Exactly, hot.
The only, I guess, my thoughts on this is I'm really excited, and Retro mentioned it. Retro was it somebody? Oh no, sorry. NJ Striker. Hello, and hello, Ritish. Good to see you, mate. Hey, Danny.
Ritish. Yeah.
The fact that it's digital, I mean, the other one's digital.
Yeah, some people don't like that. The other one's digital. Yeah.
And that makes it cheaper long term. Because you can go into the bargain bin, and there'll be a lot of bargain bins.
Oh, you can.
But. It makes no sense to think that way because you've also got the Games Pass.
Yeah, you do. That's a great thing of just buying any Xbox console. Games Pass.
To me, Microsoft should have done one of these, but without a CD drive. Made it like $50 cheaper.
Yeah, maybe.
Because that's what Sony did, right? They just took the proper big console and just go, we're just going to remove that Blu-ray.
Yeah.
That's it.
See, I think it's good what they did. They had like the two spectrums to be like, you're either this side or this side.
Yeah, it's a much smarter move.
Yeah.
I think the other console is going to be a much bigger seller than this one. Because I think a lot of parents are going to be like I said in the last stream, you're going to buy one of these, it's going to be cheap, and then you just subscribe for however many dollars per month. And you get games, and the parents never have to buy a game again.
Oh, yes. Yeah, that's so true, man. So what are they going to buy their kids now for Christmas?
I don't know, a bike.
A second controller, because the kids will be breaking it. Yeah.
But you can buy a controller that's... You know what? That's the thing with Microsoft. They use the same bloody controller.
Yeah.
I had a shitty about it last time. I'm going to remind Sony again, but...
What, the fact that Sony's being anti-consumerism?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And look, Danny said that, $220, that's $359 in Australia
for an
one
SSD.
Of those expansions, yeah.
That's ridiculous. Nobody's going to
It's so expensive.
I don't think anybody who is getting the S is going to buy it for the S. They're going to buy it for the X. Because if you're buying the X, you can also afford that $350 for things. Hey, Greg. Good to see you, mate. NJ Striker. Oh, yeah. And we said hello to NJ Striker. Yeah. I haven't been paying attention to the chat as much. Have we got... Oh, yeah, so NJ Striker said...
Richard, this drive is so cheap. It's true. Yeah. It's right. I mean, it's probably the design. Like, you have to have different plastic design. You have to implement it. Yeah. You got to... I don't know what other licensing and thing costs go into it. It's probably like $20 at the most that it costs them to implement one of these, doesn't it?
Yeah. And I love the fact that this is small. Yeah. Because you know what? People are going to chuck it in their cupboard in front of the TV, and they're going to leave it. And I did see a comment actually a little bit earlier on in regards to, you get the X if you've got a 4K TV, if it's like high refresh rate like yours. Yeah. You're investing in the fact that you're going to be playing games at high refresh rates and really high resolutions.
Yeah.
That's what you're doing. And for the first time in my life so far, I can say that buying a console is actually the better investment for gaming.
Oh my god, yes. I felt the same way. I still feel the same way.
This is the
first time, yeah. It was like when the PS1 came out, I was like, oh wow, this is cool. Like it's, so powerful as a console. And then the rest of that time, I was like, PC gaming rules, bro. It's the best.
It has ruled the roost.
But now it's like, hey, this is actually all right. Like, this is suitable. This is good. This is powerful. This is cheap.
Yeah.
This is great.
And this is me coming from somebody who has like motherboards and graphics cards, on their walls because I subscribe to the whole PC master race. But like it's just one of those moments in time where globalization has led to the point where if you go, I'm gonna buy a shit ton of this specific silicon chip, it's gonna be so cheap that it's going to be cheaper than anything else out there, and it's going to outperform. But let's be very clear. These consoles are basically gaming PCs on a large scale.
Yeah, absolutely.
This generation?
First time is like now they're just a large scale. Yeah, absolutely.
Before this generation, we had like semi-consoles with like ARM chips, and ARM is Nvidia bought ARM, by the way.
Oh, I know, that's another giant deal. Everyone's buying everything,
and consoles were kind of like a plaything.
They're
in a realm where they're running x86 code. They've got GPUs that are used now in gaming, in PCs. Like Big Navi is coming, and it's based on the Big Navi.
Basically, it's RDNA 2 architecture.
This is a turning point. Microsoft is like, it's the same as a PC. So we're going to serve both the PC and the Xbox community on one Game Pass. They're seeing into the future. I'm excited because it means that I'm going to get the Game Pass. I'm going to not have to buy an Xbox, and I'm going to play all the games that Microsoft has. And I probably won't buy a PlayStation because of how well they've just created this ecosystem. And to me, as somebody who loves their PC peripherals and loves to play at higher refresh rates, that's for me. That's the PC gaming. But for anybody else who wants to enjoy a really high quality game, they'll get an Xbox.
Absolutely, man.
I think for the cost of buying games. And coming back to what you said about JB Hi-5, not stocking your games.
Yeah, what is up with that? We're just like low stock or what? But like, I mean, the plus is when you're buying a game, you have ownership of that license, like of the, you've got the game always, forever and amen. But like when you're on Game Pass, obviously the games disappear and it's a shame. They rotate around. Just going back to this thing, I think as a Sony PlayStation gamer, like this is probably making Sony very, very nervous now. Because going into next gen, it's a very different game now. Sony, in order to keep up, because they don't have that... Well, I mean, they're trying to, actually. I think they're trying to get into the PC market now with Horizon Zero Dawn, with Death Stranding coming onto it. It's the paths are converging now. It's kind of like... It's this unification. Everything's going to, like, the PC master race. And everyone's becoming one, basically.
Yeah. Well, that's I guess ultimately So sort of taking a step back. Segregating markets is actually not very good. So segregated markets create the company who's supplying those segregated markets more work, and they can't cut costs because of that. So having a market that's all in one is actually good for the businesses because they don't have to spend so much money on R&D and stuff. And I'm going to put this out there. I think one day there's going to be a single device. No, actually, sorry. No, step back.
What?
There's not going to be consoles. There's going to be a subscription.
Oh, right. Right.
And you just subscribe to the companies
that
and
you
the
want.
game developers.
You're so right. It's going to be like these massive corporations. Do you subscribe to Microsoft, Sony, Google, or Amazon, like Apple? Yeah, there'll be like 5 companies basically at one stage.
What's the point of buying a console where, and especially with NBN having, I don't know if you heard, but they're upgrading everybody to fiber.
Yeah, no, I was
man.
watching your channel. I was watching your channel. Yeah,
Got him.
Yeah.
So that in itself is kind of like the future. If you've got fiber,
Right.
and you have a little like shield or maybe a little device that connects to your TV and streams the content into it, and it makes it work better in regards to like latency.
Yeah.
You just subscribe to the studios that you want to buy games from. Like, we're going away from consoles, and we're going away from devices. I think the PC will stay, because the thing with PCs,
Yes.
right, is Stadia, but there's a new one. There's a new one.
Oh yeah, there's an Amazon one.
Yeah, there's an Amazon one.
Oh, sorry, is it Amazon?
Yes,
It's Amazon.
Because
Yeah,
Amazon
right.
owns Twitch, and
Yeah.
and so it's a Twitch thing, but Amazon.
Yeah.
But we're moving away from those devices because it's more efficient for companies, cost effective, to use their big servers and big centers. And that's the same thought that Nvidia has. Nvidia, the reason they bought ARM is because I think they're stepping away from building GPUs.
Oh, I think you're right. I think you're right. I felt like
They're
it was
not
going
stupid.
that way. Yeah. I feel like it's like they're gonna go like mass servers and then do like that service like that
Yeah.
you're talking about.
Yeah.
Basically, yes, on that scale.
I wager
Whoa.
that Nvidia buying ARM. So ARM,
Yeah.
I talked about it in a video ages ago, but
Right.
ARM is a designer of the chips and the silicon and the transistors, and they don't actually manufacture them themselves. They sell the designs, and they work with companies to build better designs, right? So they're kind of neutral in the whole aspect. Nvidia buying them makes it a little bit it's a worry, because if Nvidia buys it, means Nvidia owns it, and they'll steal all the nice designs, and then everybody else who lives off that
Yeah.
kind of falls apart, right?
Right.
But Nvidia is not stupid, because then ARM loses the value that it brings. And so what they're going to do is they're going to sell or give all the designs of their GPUs into ARM, and then ARM's going to resell the ability to build very powerful GPUs. And then you're going to have hundreds of these little companies who are building GPUs based on Nvidia's designs, because
Right,
that's what they're
yeah,
good at. Manufacturing is the most expensive thing
Yes.
you can do.
Yes.
Why don't
And
you just
risky.
risky? Why don't you give it to somebody else? Like all the AIBs, why don't they just do it?
So are you saying Nvidia will be a designer company? They'll be like the architects, and everyone else is like manufacturing.
I think the fact that this 3000 release, with all the Founders Editions cards,
yes.
the fact that it's so low,
Paper launch. Yeah.
I think the fact that it's so low is because they're just moving away from manufacturing. I don't even know why they started in the first place, but they'll just leave it to like Asus, to Gigabyte, to MSI. What's the other one called?
Oh,
Galax.
Galax.
Like
Yeah,
they
yeah.
forgot the Y because it's
Yeah.
But they're gonna be the ones building it. But they're gonna have to subscribe to ARM to build them. And what's going to happen? And I'm really excited for this.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm talking a lot. I'm really excited.
I'm keen to hear it.
I'm really excited for competition amongst the AIBs.
Yes. Oh,
They're going
there
to be
will
like,
heaps
well,
of
we
competition.
designed this card. It's like based on the RTX 3000 series, but it's called the let's say 4000. 4000. It's called the 80, but it's like the SX or GT or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
But it's only available from MSI, and it's 20% faster than the competition.
Yeah.
And that's it. And that's going to be really exciting.
Well, I feel like it's kind of going in that direction. Like looking at the 3080s, there's a bit of like a price disparity. There's like a few hundreds of dollars of difference between them. Like these
Let's have a
guys
look.
have the biggest heat sinks. They've got the strongest fans. They've got like, this type of design. They've got the RGBs on it. Like, I feel like in order to differentiate themselves, they have to do something that's really going to lure the gamers in. But everyone has the edge right now in the sense that stock is so low.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter what you produce or who you are, because you're going to sell out like everybody's selling out right now.
Look at this. Actually, I should just order it from price.
Wow.
So the cheapest one is $1099.
$1,100, right. The cheapest 3080 and the most expensive?
3080 is $1679.
So that's $580 difference.
Yeah, that's crazy money.
That's crazy money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like sorry. Comparably to the 2000 series, it's not. But that's
Yes.
because Nvidia made it expensive.
Yeah.
But look at this. Look at so none of these. Okay, so how many? So there's two cards at MSRP.
Yeah.
Everything
Two
else
cards.
is above MSRP. So Nvidia lied in regards to them having, cards that are cheap. And then especially with the RTX 3090, the cheapest one is not MSRP.
$25.69.
It's like $70 more.
Expensive.
And look at this, the most expensive one,
32.
$3,249.
Moral of the story, guys, get a console.
Well,
This
yeah.
is so expensive.
Sorry, like, I actually tried, so I want to be honest. I tried to buy the 3090 on Thursday,
Yeah.
and I failed miserably.
Wow. When you're a producer right now, like, these are the real winners, the companies that are producing these cards. Because people, like, if you put out a $10,000 GPU right now, people would buy it. It would sell out.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what price tag you put on these things. People are just going to buy them because of the shortage and because of the craze. Like, people are so hungry to buy things right now.
Why? Like, I've
don't
never
know.
seen this with any other version of a card. And most cards...
Same. I've never seen it as crazy as this.
Yeah, and they've come out and had, 20% more, 30. I went and bought my 1080 Ti without pre-ordering. I just went to the store. I'm like, can I get a 1080 Ti? And they're like, yeah, bro, like, here you go. I'm like, oh, I'll have that one because it's cheaper. They're like, oh, yeah, sweet ass.
Yeah,
like,
that was like me buying a 1080 is like, can I have one, please? And like, I didn't even pre-order. They're like, yeah, here you go.
There's no difference this time around. It's still a 30% increase. I think people just hated the 2000 series. I think it's just generally people's attitudes.
Right. Maybe it's like, the world is ending. We need good graphics cards. Everyone's why? Yeah.
G'day, Patrick.
Yeah.
Good to see you, mate.
Hey, Patrick.
Jason. Hey. Andrew. Yes, mate. F Stadia.
Stadia for now. Yeah. I agree with Pog. The card's worth more than my whole gaming rig. Oh my god, yes.
Yeah, it's incredible.
It's so much more expensive.
I'm not surprised. Consoles are so like they're just winning on the basic fact that a graphics card costs more than the bloody console itself.
Well, that's the thing. Like with consoles, it's like the manufacturers they're not counting on the consoles. They're like, we're just gonna put them out there at a safe pace because they're costing us money. Really, they're costing them money. So it's the consumer that's winning there. It's always the software where they make the money. Yeah. That's the only way where they make the money.
And subscriptions and all that stuff. That's ongoing, predictable revenue. That's what companies want. They want predictable revenue.
Yes.
Most companies want to pivot to a point where they don't have to chase a sale for work. They chase a customer for a subscription, and then they provide ongoing value.
Yeah.
What's the point of consistently chasing for another project? Like, construction industry is that. You chase for a project, you build it, and then you got to keep chasing.
You got to chase those contracts, man.
Yeah, and that's why construction companies fall left, right, and center. I was in the construction industry. I sold software to construction industries. The problem was getting constant work.
Absolutely. Yeah.
The government helps with that a lot, though.
You know what just got me thinking about, speaking of constant work, the winners with these big multi-billion-dollar deals, acquisitions going on, are the developers, the workers. They're going to get constant work now. They don't need to chase future projects and pitch these future projects. Now it's like, we're under a giant umbrella. We're going to have ongoing work for the next 7 years because, we got to create games for this particular console, for this particular platform. And as long as we're here, like, we're under them, we just, we got jobs.
Completely agree. I think, looking at one of the companies that people love right now, and that's, what's the red guys?
AMD?
No.
Red guys. McDonald's?
No.
Coca-Cola?
McDonald's not red. They're yellow.
Red and yellow.
Red and yellow.
KFC?
No.
Why am I thinking food?
Who's making Cyberpunk?
CD Projekt Red.
Yeah.
The red guys.
So, working for them is actually a little bit...
oh my god.
Ghost.
Ghost.
Jeez.
Jesus.
It's like you don't get enough pats, Ghost.
Yeah, I'll give you pats later.
What was it? Oh, yeah. So, PC Projekt Red.
PC Projekt Red?
Whatever they're called.
Yeah. Red Team.
Red Team. They actually like working for them might actually be a little bit scary because you only have like one project going on, and if that one, like say, let's say Cyberpunk fails,
Oh no, you don't want that to happen.
the whole company will go under. And like you said, if you're with Microsoft, they have so many avenues of revenue.
Yeah.
Your job is so safe. If I was working for Bethesda right now or Zenimax, I'd be bloody happy.
Yeah, absolutely. Although I don't think CD Projekt is going to fail at all. I think they have so much money from pre-orders alone that they're like, well, that will fund our future projects.
Do they even need to release a game?
Yeah, they could just sit back.
Yeah, shut down. Sorry, guys.
Shut down operations.
Sorry. We'll take your money, but we're done. We're
done. Yeah, I think they're gonna be okay.
Let me just do a quick run up of the RTX 3090. So it costs double the amount, triple almost.
Triple sometimes.
And it's only performing about 5% to 15% more than the 3080.
But that's at the moment, right?
Oh yeah, what did you say before?
Like what I was thinking is like because the games are not as future-proofed and not as well optimized to benefit that amount of power, and I don't think the drivers are well optimized, and then we got obviously the bottlenecks with the CPU.
Yep.
Like there's so much raw power in a 3090. I don't think all of these things taken into consideration are actually enabling it to perform the way it should.
Interesting.
So perhaps in the next year or two, we will see the full potential of this card.
Interesting that you say that.
Yeah.
Well, look, Linus didn't have the most positive review. He did say, though, I watched the WAN show earlier today. He did say that the 8K experience of playing games or playing Doom was one of the biggest highlights of ever, whatever he said.
Yeah.
He was very impressed with playing 8K, but he also had a $30,000 TV to play on.
He did, and those TVs are so like they've got supercomputers in there for the capability to upscale perfectly, so it does look like true and real 8K in a way.
So that's the thing, right? The 8Ks, well, they haven't really been true 8K. I think Forza was the only one that played.
Oh, that was the only native
8K. So what the difference is between native and non-native is AI upscaling, which basically means that there's a processor, or probably on the CUDA cores or the Tensor cores or whatever it was, upscaled a 1440p like image up to 8K.
That's the power of DLSS.
Yeah. So it was doing the smarts and it was doing its bit, and it's not really true 8K. So we don't have 8K gaming. When somebody comes along and says, we have 8K gaming. What? In like Forza?
In like Forza, the only game.
Yeah. Like nobody's going to be playing. Nobody is going to be playing 8K games for the next 3 years.
That doesn't sound like a lot of time when you put it that way.
Make it 13.
I want to say yes, that 13 makes more sense to me.
It's 8K has got such diminishing returns. We talked about it with the frames, right? With refresh rates.
Yeah.
200 frames, if you go up by another 100 to 360, or like 160 to 360, the diminishing return, it's just so low.
It's so low.
You're removing milliseconds.
Absolutely right. And you know what? I agree with that. I feel like once you're going past 120, major diminishing returns, just the same as you go past 1800p, there starts to be diminishing returns. So like 4K is kind of that, like, that's the peak pretty much.
4K monitors. Right. Let's take a step back. If you have a 65-inch 4K TV, unless you're like this close to it, you can't tell pixels. You can't tell that there's a box around them.
Yes.
If you have a monitor that's 32-inch in front of you and it's 4K, it'll look absolutely fantastic. But if you make it 8K, you will not see the difference because of the distance you're at. It's just visually impossible. You will see the difference in frame rates, but the distance, it just feels like a marketing scheme to say, hey, we got 8K gaming. Well, so?
We don't need it. Yeah. Oh my God. It's getting to a stage where marketing's getting trickier and trickier to sell now, because we're like, you're giving us things which we do not require. We do not need. Like, so they're becoming redundant products. Like
Nobody was asking for 8K
nobody,
gaming.
Yeah, like I think we've reached the optimal level where you've got a 4K TV, it's like that's enough. Don't need any more Ks.
Yeah, unless you got like a 150 inch TV.
Inch TV,
like you won't see an issue. Like I remember people were selling corporations was selling. Yeah, but I'll talk about upscale in a minute.
Upscale environment. Yeah,
Jason, thank you very much because I there's a topic I want to talk about, but what was I saying? Oh yeah, so
the corporations marketing, right. 4K, yeah.
So they used to sell 75-inch TVs with 1080p. It looked horrible.
Yeah, no, that's not good.
It was horrible.
Yeah.
Because it's just the physical size, the physical limitations of a TV and the resolution that you put out there and the colors. So that's why Nvidia is not building more, I guess they are, but look, they're going RTX because that will actually improve gaming past the point of just giant resolutions and giant frame rates.
Yes, now it's no longer that. It's like, well, we hit that wall with frame rates. What's next?
That's right. Yeah. They're thinking of the next thing that will actually improve the quality of your gaming.
Yeah.
What'll improve the quality of the TV. And so you've got HDR, you've got RTX, DLSS. Yeah. The whole point here is that we're just hitting these little walls.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean there's another one to go past. Just because 4K is probably the limit, I would say, for a gaming monitor, doesn't mean that there's another thing that you can put your power of your GPU into.
Yeah.
There's always going to be something else. There's always going to be another thing. Like, remember Hairworks?
Oh, yeah. That would tank FPS so hard.
But now, it's pretty... Like, if you look at a character's hair and it's not got, like, the Hairworks effect, I know it's an Nvidia exclusive thing, but if it doesn't have that effect, you're like, the hell? This game's old, you know?
Dude, to this very day, hair is the most complex and difficult thing to animate and render and to have working without tanking your FPS. It's like, damn it, hair. We just need bald guys in games everywhere.
That's why Max Payne 3, he was bald in that. Because they're like, we're not animating his hair.
This is too expensive. Remove his hair.
Get rid of it. That's why there's no women in gaming. Like, there's no women in video games. Because it's too hard to render hair.
They have too much hair. Yeah, on their heads. Oh my god, man.
Yeah, I don't know. Even Tomb Raider, right? She ties her hair in like a back thing.
Yes. I mean, this is
It's literally like developers like shit. That's gonna tank our frames. Like we cannot have this hair. Like
this hair is out of control.
Yeah,
that's why characters in games their hair was static. They'd all have super gelled hair.
Yeah. Or have caps or hats or helmets.
I
don't think people realize the amount
of. We need to put hats on everyone. That's the solution. Yeah.
The amount of tricks developers go through to increase performance is insane. I have a friend who's a developer, and the amount of tricks they go okay. So one of the things I recently got a Odyssey G9, which is a giant.
I know. I'm still going left and right the whole time because this thing is so big.
It's a giant monitor.
Yeah.
But I opened up a game today. I don't know if you don't notice this, but even though the game was showing on the whole screen, a loading screen was in the center.
Right? Yeah.
But if you were to play it on a 27-inch normal wide screen, you'd see an image just sort of floating by and look like it's moving image. Yeah. But if you extend, it's just they've just got an image just going sliding across.
It looks so budget.
Yeah, it's so cheap.
Yeah.
But these are these tricks of trying to save performance and removing certain why you have why boss battles are in a little arena. It's not because they don't want it in an open world. It's because they're trying to animate the boss to have more bits and pieces on it, hair.
Because that's the most epic moment. It's oh my god, I am fighting this thing that looks like you have all my attention on that one thing.
Yeah, and it's going to do all these explosions. It's going to have all these effects. It's going to have all this stuff happen, flashes, and it's
very
buildings
intricate. Lots of animation cycles as well, with the boss, the types of things that they're doing. It's very AI intensive in a way. There's a lot of things happening, man.
That's right, and it's all live.
All real time.
It's one of those things where you sort of go, okay, I get it why they do that, and they have to do it a lot.
Yeah.
Let's jump to our next topic.
Okay, yeah. Just a quick one on the Tokyo Game Show.
Yeah,
That's
tell
still something
us
that's
more.
happening. It was so underwhelming, the actual opening
really?
of it. The one and only game that kind of just came out of it, which is a reveal, is this Nier Replicant game. So if anyone's played Nier Automata, that's like in the same universe, I understand.
Oh.
Like the Nier universe. And this is a last gen game. This is like PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. So I'm like, what is this? Why does it look so chunky? Oh yeah, it's the last gen game. The other stuff that there was, Flight Simulator, they were showing that off. And I think some like airports in Japan or something,
Yes,
obviously promoting Japan. I was blown away just watching this. Even though it was in 1080p, I was like, whoa, look at that. It's the most beautiful game out right now. But it's the most boring game. I'm sorry. It's not a game for me. I understand if you love the game.
Yeah.
But it's not a game for me.
I need to fly past Perth. I've got the games. I need to fly past and see how it is.
Yeah. That would be cool. Yeah, flying over Perth. Watching this, what I noticed is that there wasn't any announcement that really jumped at me where I'm like, oh, this is a new thing. Like I felt like Xbox and PlayStation absorbed everything. They did all the announcements and stuff, and this is kind of like a rehash with a lot of the stuff. So yeah, there was no big major things there. I feel like Xbox, they had a big presence here at the show.
Oh really?
Yeah, Xbox was like, hey guys, we wanna be in on this Japanese market. So I felt like,
Sony's there.
Yeah, Sony's there with their stuff, but like they kind of were taking the spotlight there, and I feel like that's why Xbox sold out in like 20 minutes their pre-orders in Japan, and it was like 15 minutes here in Australia or something crazy like that.
Oh,
so.
5 minutes difference.
Yeah, I know.
Whoa,
I know. Those
mate.
Japanese, maybe this internet's slow. I don't know. No, they probably have one of the finest internets in the world, don't they?
They do. They
Japan.
have the fastest internet in the world.
But yeah, there's still stuff that is being revealed in Japan. Like, if you like your fighting games, if you like your anime style games, this is the thing for you. Like, Scarlet Nexus is another game that's like going to be cross-gen that was showcased as well. And they have your typical like anime music with like the rock and roll and
And like Japanese singing, but
Super
like
Japanese.
a little bit of English words in between.
Yes. Yeah. The guy was like something Microsoft. I'm like, oh, I understood that. Yeah.
Well, we've got another one here. Sony apologizes.
Sony.
Tell me more, Casper.
Yeah, well, I think they had to put out the statement. They knew that they were going to have to put out the statement, really, because the demand for consoles is outrageous right now. I think the demand for any new tech right now is outrageous. I think, as a collective, we all want to be a part of this exciting thing. Yeah, it's a FOMO thing. Yeah, and I think that's what it comes down to. We all want to be together on this new bandwagon, enjoying something new and exciting. And we all want to be at the bleeding edge of technology. And this is why all of this is happening.
Yeah. No, it certainly is. Do you think Sony should apologize? I don't think it's their fault. Like,
I think it's good PR.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's good PR to be like, look, we are humble, we are so, and Sony is known for this, for their history of always apologizing or actually fixing mistakes without even making a big deal out of it.
Right.
Like they had some issues with like their fans or the fan noise of the PlayStation 4 Pro. So they released a new model without actually like advertising it or anything, and people were like, hold on, this is a new like SKU number, what's going on here? Oh, this is like a different model, like it's got a different like power supply or something. Like there was something different about it, and they were like, oh, this one's a bit quieter. And they were like, yep, we're sorry about our loud consoles,
we're sorry.
basically. Yeah, we're sorry. Like,
sorry.
Basically, yeah, they're just like super humble nation who are just trying to do right by the public, and they understand how much customer loyalty matters.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's the thing with Sony, right? So
yeah.
Obviously, they don't have the big budget to like just throw money at things, so they have to play a different game. Same with Project Red, PC Project Red.
PC Project Red.
What are they called?
CD Project Red.
CD Project Red. PC.
They have a new name now.
Do they? Yes.
Yeah, PC Project Red.
Well, look. In any case, they play the audience, and they play their fans, and they're doing it really well. And Sony is certainly doing that.
So well. Yeah.
All right, last few topics. We're nearly done, folks. Big Navi. I'm excited. Are you excited?
I'm very excited. I want to see a competitor to jump in and be like, hey, you're not the only big shooter in town.
Yeah. So it looks like AMD's Big Navi could potentially be beating out the 3080 because the 3080 is having a bit of trouble. Now, we know that the 3080 is going to be coming out with a 20 gigabyte version to try and sort of fill the space of 4K. Like, at the moment, I think Flight Simulator is the only one that takes more than 10 gigs of RAM, or VRAM from a graphics card.
Yeah.
So it'd be for those people, but, you know, people want to buy the better thing.
Yeah,
so, you know,
yeah.
more RAM, whatever. But I don't think it's not going to be a 3080 Ti or anything like that. There will be a 3070 Ti. It's unlikely that it will, you know, it'll just fit right in between the slot. There's not going to be anything that's going to be better than the 3090. So rest assured, if you're buying one of those, you'll be spending a shitload, but you'll
be sweet for the next 2 years. Yeah.
2 years, yeah, pretty much. But so Big Navi is looking to fill the slot of where 3080s, the 10 gigs versions, failed, which is just a little bit above the 10 gig RAM, and the performance about the same.
Yeah.
So meaning that people will be like, oh, well, the 3080 is here, it's 10 gigs. The 3080 20 gig costs a bit more, but here's a Navi whatever, and it's got the performance
6900 XT or something like that.
It's got the performance of like a 3080, but it's got more RAM. And it'd be like, well, it's more numbers, so bam. And if AMD achieves this, we're in a good spot for some good competition, and we're in a good spot for price reductions.
Yeah, yeah.
Those people who are buying right now might not be. Well, I mean, they won't care. Early adopters don't care.
Yeah, there's gonna be a bit of upset people. There's gonna be a bit of anger, I think, consumers' remorse and all that kind of stuff. Because I feel that Nvidia just wanted to get out there and sell cards without wasting that much money on VRAM. You know, because they're like, 10 gigabyte cards, la 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 la.
Yeah.
Even though we have to compete with the 16 gigabyte ones, we'll just put out 20s when we need to. We
Last
don't need
gen
to right
had
now.
more RAM.
Did it?
Yeah.
Oh, well, 11 for the...
Yeah, like my 1080 Ti had 11 gigs of RAM. Like,
yeah, true.
they should have put 12.
That's
If
where they have the 3090, 24.
Well, if the Nvidia put 12,
Yeah.
we would not have this issue.
You're right, they should have had 12. It would have been a bit more future-proof. A bit more future-proof.
Not quite a lot more.
Yeah. But, like, we don't know. We actually don't know what next gen is going to require of us, right? We actually don't know, because we won't see that for like the next year or two. But with the consoles having like 16 gigs of RAM that's being used for like everything, maybe these games are gonna be fairly demanding. Because I mean, we're doubling the RAM from console generation from one to the next. We're doubling it, but in PC we're not doing that.
No, and the other thing of it is RAM in a GPU, the problem here is that not all games are efficient in the way they use the GPU RAM. They're actually like, oh, I've got like 10. Screw it. I'll just use like 9. But they don't actually fully utilize the 9 that is assigned to them. So technically speaking, Microsoft could make their, Flight Simulator a lot more efficient and work under 10. Red Dead Redemption, I ran it at 3.5K on a 1080 Ti, and it was only using 6 gigs of VRAM.
That's really good.
Yeah, and it's a
Wow.
beautiful looking game. Everything was on high.
Yeah.
So I guess the idea here is that, you know, not necessarily do all games ever need 10.
Yeah.
There might be some that need more, but we're getting to, maybe they already thought about this. We're getting to a point where we're not really doing 8K native, so why don't we just AI upscale what we're doing at 1440p, and we don't really need to even run more than like 7. I think AI is going to be the future. AI upscaling, everything's going upscaling.
Right,
we're not going to be running native, because the performance cost for native is so high, and the expectation is so high that we're never going to get there if we do this iterative
iterations
with these cards, because
iterative. Damn it!
Nvidia
Yeah.
can keep going 30%, 30%, but the jump from 4K to 8K is much bigger than the 30% every generation of a console. Oh, sorry, of a graphics card. So.
Yeah. So it sounds like what you're saying is that everyone's getting really, how should I put it? Like they're getting very good with their tricks in a way. Like that's the future is about getting clever with the kind of tricks that you're going to be using with processing all of that.
Absolutely.
Like it's no longer native. Like nothing's going to be real anymore.
No,
it's a fake future.
You're not gonna have native 8K games. You're not gonna, games are gonna be sold and they're gonna be like, high quality, and they're gonna give you like, little tricks, little like, like Vulkan and DirectX 12.
Yeah.
The next versions are gonna have more and more tricks to utilize more power, but demonstrate to you a different view. It might not be native at all. I was gonna add, recently in the last 3 years, games have added a little slider called the resolution scale. You can set all your qualities up to high, your game resolution to your full monitor's resolution, but then you can adjust the actual rendering resolution. And some games have a render and what's the word I'm looking for? A rendering resolution that changes depending on demand.
Yeah.
So when your game suddenly needs more frames, or the frames dip, it lowers the render resolution, and you see a bit of pixelation, but it picks back up again. We're getting into a space where games are becoming smarter to match the hardware you have, and consoles doesn't matter because they have the same console across. But with PC gaming, that's what's going to happen. We're going to see more AI resolutions. We're going to see more graphics cards with cores that are just dedicated to upscaling, or just dedicated to RTX. And the next thing will probably be, so we've got physics. Oh, so remember when physics cards used to be separate?
Oh, they did?
Yeah,
I don't remember that.
PhysX used to be a card add-on that we used to do all your physics stuff. So you're like what is it called? The body falling, whatever it's called, like animations and
Was
stuff.
this like 20 years ago?
No.
Oh.
15.
Oh.
So it's all going into one, right? Now your card's going to have more and more different cores dedicated to different things. So I think next release from Nvidia probably will be the last one, so the 4000 series, before they move fully into like the ARM thing that I mentioned before. They might have something along the lines of, we've got AI upscaling cores, we've got our CUDA cores, we've got our RT cores, and then we've got the cores for the GPU, and then we've got...
There's like more and more cores happening. Now we got our physics cores, we got our hair cores, like they might have the hair works.
Yeah, cores dedicated to specific
hair follicles. Yeah.
What would be one? You've got physics, lighting. Yeah.
What else do we need? Like some sort of like an AI cores.
Yeah. So AI scaling. So that's going to be the third one. What do you think the fourth one is in the future of? In the future of gaming, what's the fourth thing that games might need? So we've got lighting. HDR is not really one necessary because it's more... It's more the reproduction on your screen.
What do games need?
You've got the the physics, which needs to be calculated for everything. You've got obviously more explosions, which is part of physics, and
that's
and
part
CPU
of physics.
power, and just having more people.
Hair is part of physics, right?
Yeah, hair is part of physics. You've got lighting's a big thing, reflections. I think there's going to be textures. I think there's going to be something along textures. They're going to be photorealistic textures.
I think you're right, because like when Linus was playing the 8K gaming, he said the one thing that was holding the games back was the actual texture work. He was like, we're at such high res that these things just need a touch up. So like the people who are working on these things are going to be like, crap, 8K.
Yeah.
I got a lot of work on this rock.
Well, that's the other thing. The triangles, right? So PlayStation did a demo of all the little triangles, remember?
Yeah.
And, that's one of the things. You increase the triangles, but you're not, the performance hit is massive, but the actual result of how you see the item is going to be very small. I think there will be a couple of cores that will take care of reducing jaggies. So, I mean, DLSS does this, right? But I think there's going to be a next generation of DLSS, obviously, because we're at 2.0 now, I think, the DLSS.
Yes. Yeah.
So maybe 3.0, where the textures are photorealistic, and then they're completely shaped in the exact curvature of what the item is, without having to do all the jaggies.
All the jaggies. All
And
the
it's going to be done in a different, more
God,
efficient
yes.
way. So we've got Destruction's a big one. I remember when Battlefield
Right.
3 came. Battlefield 2 Battlefield Bad Company 2.
Yeah.
They had the ability to destroy buildings, and everybody, and even Battlefield 3 had like buildings falling on each other. I know it's physics, but you know, in a multiplayer game, you're trying to like calculate all these physics for everyone in the game. It's quite, it's heavy.
Yes.
I think there'll be something in the GPU that takes care of that. But I think it's hard to think about these things when you're not doing this day to day. Like when you're living and breathing, designing graphics cards and thinking of the next thing, it's hard.
Yeah, man, it's tough. Wow. I think
Thoughts?
my thoughts are you're right in saying that we are reaching ceilings in certain departments.
Yeah.
And now with Nvidia and AMD, they're looking at the other holes that they need to plug now. Like what's more important now? It's like, yep, we got frames, we got resolution. What's next?
Yeah.
We gotta think
But
about
ray tracing is the new one.
Ray tracing is the new one. So there's gotta be something else. And these things are used as key sellers as well, because they can no longer be like, now you can have 25K. It's like, don't need it, not necessary.
Yeah. All right. I think that's it, folks. We just I'll just talk about it. This AMD promises Navi launch won't suffer the same problems.
Yeah, did you see that tweet? It was like from the chief architecture of like gaming and marketing. So Frank Anzor basically responded to this Andre Elijah. He's like, not being able to pick up a 3090 today means my work is going to be blah blah. Yeah, it's not going to be able to work. Can they at least release a new Quadro so I can get my work done? $10 says AMD will be paper launch too. And he's like, I look forward to taking your $10.
Okay.
So AMD's basically like really confident to say like, look, we're going to have heaps of cards on day one. They obviously won't.
Do you think the fact that they're waiting so long is because they're going to have more cards? You know, every day they could be manufacturing thousands of cards.
They do have a one-up on Nvidia by the fact that, okay, this is what we need everything to be, like the specs.
Yeah.
And then let's pump them out like crazy.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's a small window. Like all they had is 2 months. So like 8 weeks to really make this happen. To be like, to put it out there. To put the product. This is a small window. I don't know.
Look, I think AMD cannot make the same mistakes, but in reality, if they're going to release a new thing and it's going to be performing as well as the 3080, people are going to be like, oh, screw it, we'll just go to AMD. Like, that's the thing. People don't go... People don't just suddenly go, oh, I'm going to hold out for the AMD one. No, they just go,
People are impatient.
They're impatient.
We're impatient.
Those people who didn't get to buy the 3080 are going to jump on AMD.
Absolutely.
They're just they don't care.
Like
They're
me.
Just,
I'm going to jump on that thing.
I haven't, I've tried to get the 3080 on day one. I've tried to get the 3090. Price wasn't an issue. I was like, screw it. I'm just getting one of them. I don't care. I didn't care that one was twice the amount. I was like, whatever. I just want a card for this bloody monitor I got here. Now, I'm suffering 120 hertz instead of 240, but
I know, it's peasant specs, bro.
Peasantry.
Peasantry.
But as soon if AMD comes out and I can buy that at launch, well, there's no reason why I'm buying Nvidia. It's just that they were the new ones at the same time as I'm like redoing my computer. So yeah, that is what it is. Let's do some goodbyes.
Let's read some stuff.
Time to Fly says, great show, boys. See you next time. See you next time. Time to fly.
Time to fly.
That's like, if there's a name for anybody who's like leaving, Time to Fly is a good name.
Yeah, we need to destroy the bots. I agree. 19th Shadow. Yeah, it's the war against the machines. Skynet is happening, guys.
The bots.
Yeah.
I don't think bots have been affecting Australian sales. I think it's just been Australians being Australians.
I think this is what like John Connor didn't see coming. It's like the bots.
Yeah.
They're gonna buy the scalping
machines.
bots.
The machines aren't gonna kill you. They're just gonna buy all the crap you want to buy, and then you're gonna destroy yourself. It's like, it's just more efficient that way.
Yeah.
Put some comments in. We've got a few more minutes before we finish up. Sam Dawson says, good evening. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
But it'll be a finished evening soon. Jason says, and I haven't had a card issue in the same RAM space?
In the same RAM space.
Haven't had a card issue in the same RAM space. Are you talking about like animal RAMs? I honestly, sorry, man, I don't know what it means. All right, I think we'll finish up. Nafi says, physics-based rendering is where we're moving towards already, where textures are photometric properties of real-life materials. I know Unreal Engine 5 already has that. Yeah,
agreed. Yes.
Yeah. Unreal Engine is, I mean, it's amazing. Every time they come, they're leading the way, aren't they? Every generation, they're the ones that are like peaking.
Unreal Engine, yeah, absolutely. I feel like they are taking it next level, man.
Yeah,
they're absolutely. They've got like some talented people working there. I swear, like passionate and talented.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So thank you very much for watching this week's stream. We might not have a stream next week, but we'll let you know, or it might be at a different time. But we might, we're just both unavailable. But thanks for watching. Thanks, Patrick. Thank Jason, Sam, NJ Striker, Time to Fly, Pog, Nuffy, Jason, Danny, Alan.
Yep.
Hammy.
Alan, yep.
Jason. What's that, Jason? Restoration. Ritish. Who was at the top? I remember there was a name I haven't said. Oh, Retro 1993 and Greg.
Yeah.
Control. Good to catch you guys.
Hammy, Brindle, cool.
Where can we find you, Casper?
Oh, you can find me at Game with Casper, guys. Everything gaming related. It's not as tech and hardware based as Techman Pats. Obviously, you can tell by his name. But I am passionate about everything gaming, so that's what you're gonna get, and as well as a lot of Let's Play videos. And currently, I'm playing Mafia.
Cool.
Definitive
Links
edition.
below. Check them out. Have a good long weekend if you're in WA, and we'll catch you all next time.
Yeah. Take care.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Wave goodbye, everybody. I'm gonna press end now.